Hello, my lovelies. Today I am trying to regain back my sanity that it seems that I have lost for the past 2 weeks by treating myself to a new messenger bag for whenever the parks open again. Some of you know me from Facebook, and you know I sew a lot of dresses and outfits and clothes for myself and for my family as part of my day-to-day job and promotions. But bag making has become a real escape because it's something I do just for me, not for anyone else, not part of a job, with materials that I buy myself and sew whenever I want. It's no stress. It's just my place of recharging. So I felt like I needed that today. So I figured maybe some of you are interested in seeing this new bag that I'm making. And I do want to start with a disclaimer that I am not a bag maker. I am no professional. I am a total amateur. I've sewn bags for some sew-alongs before, and I think I made my first bag maybe a year and a half ago. I am showing you how to make these bags from an amateur standpoint, for a beginner standpoint. This is no pro. I just want to make that clear out there. So for any professional bag makers out there, my hat's off to you. I am learning as I go, and I do follow a lot of bag makers on Facebook and YouTube and learning from them. I am not one. I do encourage you to follow me if you like to see various sew-alongs and bag makings from a beginner standpoint. So I took some time last night to cut my fabric. First of all, I totally forgot. I am making the new Sew Sweetness pattern, the messenger. The Tower Messenger bag. This is a free pattern from Sarah. She does give you an option for a $2 or a $9 donation to a cause that is near and dear to her heart. She rides horses, and this is for the stable that she has her horse at. All the details are on the Sew Sweetness page. I will obviously link the pattern and everything else that I'm using in the description of this video, so you can easily click it. If you can make a small donation, it's encouraged. If not, the pattern is a free one, and Sarah also includes videos with her patterns, and this one includes a video also, so I do encourage you to watch Sarah's video too. She is the pro here. I'm not the pro. She's the pro, and you will love. Like, I'm a huge fan of Sarah's pattern, and Sew Sweetness is actually, before I get too sappy, and I'll start sewing very soon. She is the reason I actually started making bags. I found through her patterns that it's not impossible, and it's quite pleasant and spendy. I won't deny it, but it's fun and enjoyable. So make sure you check out Sarah's patterns as well as her Facebook group. I'll also link that. So I have I did the cutting yesterday and the fusing of the interfacing, because I don't want the videos to be 5 hours long. Plus, for the first time ever, I'm using Decovil Light. I've never used it before, so I splurged and treated myself to some Decovil Light and Heavy. This time I'm using light, and it needs half an hour to cool off. So I let it cool off after I fused it overnight. For the fabric, I'm using this cute backstitch popcorn bucket print that we've had like about a year ago, with the coordinates also from backstitch. So the pattern has two front and back pieces. I've Decovil interfaced them with Decovil Light, and that's it. You also need the two lining zipper tabs. I have my two pockets. Everything except for the two main pieces are interfaced with Woven Fuse or Peltex 101, not Peltex, sorry, Pelon 101 Shape Flex. These are the two pockets. And then I have my two linings that are a little shorter. You'll notice in the pattern, the linings are a little shorter than the main. Once you follow the instructions in the cutting chart, you're good to go. I also have a cork accent that I'll be putting at the top. Here, it will be like this. My cork, I didn't have enough for the measurements in there, so mine is, I think, half an inch shorter. It should have been like a half an inch taller than this, but I didn't have enough, so I'll make do with it. This is why you might see some modification to the pattern, because I just had to work with what I had. Cork is also from Sarah, from So Sweetness. I love her cork. It's the best cork I've ever used. Then I have my zipper tab, also made with cork. Pattern has one strap tab. I'm OCD. Well, I'm not OCD, and I know it's not nice to say that, so I am very keen on symmetry, let's put it that way. So I have two straps. Pattern only calls for one, but I like to use two straps. Obviously, two sliders. I do mark on the back of my fabric when I cut it, and on my pieces, especially rectangular ones, what they are, so I don't forget. I use it like a friction pen, so it disappears with heat. And hardware. I have D-rings, like the best D-rings ever. These that have the little slider bar. They're so awesome. These are from Wizard Stitchery and Crafts. Same as my zipper. It's a rainbow zipper Bardeyard. This is also from Melissa, as well as my Castle zipper pull. Also from, that's so cute, a rainbow one from with WSNC with Wizardry Stitchery and Crafts. Oh good God, I haven't slept well last night. I have two extra zipper pulls. I want to say I got them from my handmade space, but I'm not sure. I've had them from a long time ago, for a long time. That I'm going to use for the zippers. I have a handmade tag. I believe these I got from Wallet Hardware on Facebook. And also the zipper tab that I prepared yesterday because I needed to let my edge coat dry. These are the two tabs that are an option. They're just 4 pieces of cork that I've sewn together, and then on the edge I used edge coat to make the edge black instead of the, so cork's edge is like this, it's beige. So I used edge coat that I got on Amazon. I'm gonna link it here, just to paint the edges black. So I'm gonna use this. I'll also be using 4 rivets. I haven't gotten them out yet. And a strap that I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna just use one of the million straps that I already have pre-made, or I'm gonna make one with this fabric. I'm probably gonna end up using like a simple black webbing strap that I have made for my other 50 bags. So that's why I haven't cut a strap piece yet. And I have my pattern because this is a brand new pattern. It just released last week, I want to say. So I've never made it before, so I do want to have my instructions handy. And I know I've been yapping a lot, so let's get started with the pockets. So for the pockets, one of Sarah's tips are to make sure you mark the top of the pockets with a T. This is a friction pen that's erasable by heat, so it's not gonna stay on the fabric. So there's an inside lining pocket and an outside pocket. We're gonna be doing the same thing basically for both. Let's see. So I'm going to make a horizontal line 6.5 inches from the top. And I know there's one below that's 1/2 inch. So 7 from the top. This is where the zipper will be. I'm gonna mark the 1 inch on the side. 1 inch on the side. So this is gonna be done for both pockets. So I'm gonna work with both at the same time to save time. Okay, so let's do 7, 6.5, 1, and 1. This is just woven fabric from Backstitch's, I think it was a mystery box. You can use cotton lycra too. I've used it plenty of times because you'll be interfacing it with Pelon 101 or Woven Fuse, so that will make it act like there's no stretch, like a woven. Alright, so now we're gonna take one of the panels, one of the main panels first, and then on the right side you want to draw a line that's 2 inches from the top. You can't really see because it's blue on blue, but I can see it. And you're gonna align the bottom of your pocket. The T is at the top, the bottom is right here, 2 inches from the bottom, and make sure it's centered. So I eyeballed it, so now I'm gonna just check it's 1 inch here, and it's 1 inch here, so perfect. Alright, I can start sewing. I'm gonna sew around this rectangle. I've treated myself to an industrial machine last year, but you can make this pattern without a doubt on a domestic sewing machine. Alrighty. So you will be repeating this step for the lining piece as well. Now I'm gonna take my scissors and put a hole right in the center of that and cut There you go. I just didn't want to forget and start sewing next time. Alright, so with my scissors, I'm going to put a hole right in here. Okay, I cut through both layers. And right here at the corner, I'm coming 1/2 inch in and cutting like a Y. See? And that's in both corners. The closer you get to the stitching in the corner, the crispier you'll have your pocket when you flip it. So now I'm pushing my pocket. And you have to give it a good press. If you've used foam interfacing, you might want to cut the excess foam at the seam allowance here. I've used only Decaville Light, so I'm not worried about that. So give it a good press with your machine, and this is your pocket opening. Alright, we're gonna put the zipper in here. So let me see how much zipper I need. I'm just estimating the amount, the zipper amount. I think there's measurements in the pattern, but I don't really need them right now. So let's see if you can see me here. I'm going to attach my zipper pull to my zipper by the yard simply by opening a little bit of the zipper and pushing. I'm putting my zipper in and making sure that the sides are equal. I'm just pulling it. This is the first time I'm using the zipper, so it's really strong, the hold. There you go, super easy. I'll show you again when I do the other one. So now I'm going to put a little bit of Wonder Tape. On the edges of the zipper, so it helps me hold it in place. It's not, I don't like using pins with the zipper tape because it makes it wavy. This I also get from Amazon. It's actually not Wonder Tape, it's like a off-brand Wonder Tape, but it's so much more reasonably priced that I honestly prefer it. Comes in way larger quantity. So now I'm just going to place my zipper. It would help a lot more if I actually pressed it first, because you want this to be nice and even. So don't skip the pressing like I am. And you want the zipper tape to be in the center. The zipper teeth to be in the center of the opening. There you go. And make sure that your zipper pull is also in the center. or within, inside the opening. All right, that will do it. I'm fine with it the way it looks right now. So because I use Wonder tape, it stays right there. So now I'm just gonna sew around it. I'm sewing about 1/8 of an inch, I want to say, away from the edge. And sometimes I like to back stitch a few times at the beginning and at the end, right on top of the zipper teeth. That's these are nylon zipper coils. Don't do that if you're using a metal zipper, obviously, because it's gonna just destroy your needle and you can get hurt. It can just fly in your eye. So don't do that. Only for nylon zipper teeth. All right. So this is the back or the front of the bag. There's really no front or back. To finish the pocket, first let me shorten it a little bit because I think the zipper is too long right now. I don't want the zipper teeth in my seam allowance of the pocket, so I'm just gonna trim the excess, especially because I eyeballed it. Alright, so now I know that for my other one I'm just gonna use this measurement. Alright, so now come with your zipper, with your top down, and we're just gonna be closing the pocket. Move your main piece away from the pocket. Alright, so we have our main pocket done. I have to do the same thing for the lining zipper pocket. And then we'll move on to the other steps. So this is the pocket. Pretty, right? Alright, let me show you one more time how to add the zipper teeth to the zipper, and then I'm gonna do the other pocket off camera because it's exactly the same as this. Okay, so take your zipper teeth, your zipper tape, open it into one end, and then your zipper pull. Just slide it on both sides. I don't use a fork or anything like that. I just use my fingers to just slide it there. Tap it at the top and just pull. I tap it here to make sure it's all in. There you go. if you see, like I have here, if you see like the top has a little bubble and you're not doing a double zipper, you can just slide it all the way to the end and it's gonna align if it's off by 1 or 2. If you're doing a double zipper, then you have to redo it, make sure it matches, but mine does not matter. So there you go. Alright, so we have, well, I have sewn the lining the same way I did the zipper on the front of the bag. This one I did it on the lining. The only difference that I did was leaving an opening. I left an opening about 6 inches. Instead of sewing the zipper, the pocket like we did the first time, like this, like a U, I made an L, a 6-inch gap or more probably. Yeah, 6-inch gap, then another mirrored L. This is what we're gonna use to birth the bag at the end when we're done. So that's my lining, one of the linings. This line that I used to measure, it's gonna go away once I iron it, because it's a friction pen line. Alright, so that aside for now, and we're gonna work with the zipper. We're gonna create the zipper right now. So I'm going to measure 13 3/4. No, 13 3/4 is right here. And cut my zipper. Okay. I'll add my zipper pull so I don't forget. Same way as we did before. And then we're gonna add one zipper end and prepare the other end with a new technique that I've seen Sarah use lately that I absolutely love the result of. Alright, so let's see. I'm just pushing it in and done. I can see it's off by 1, so let me just do it again, because I know it will annoy me if it's off by 1. No, I should be good. Yes, now it's good. Alright, so one of the zipper ends, I should probably use my lighter to seal in the ends. Let's see. And I am using, these are the strap tabs. Okay, here, I knew I cut some cork for this because I like the accent. So I'm folding 1/4 inch on each side. If you find that it's too difficult to work with cork or vinyl for the zipper tab, you can definitely do the fabric that you used for the main print, or do one of those pre-made zipper ends. I don't know if I have any that are rainbow color left, and I don't want to add another. I find that if I use Wonder Tape, it's easier to sew if something holds it in place. I haven't matched my my bobbin thread to the main thread, so that's why I'm sewing upside down. If you press it, you can just press it if it's fabric. It's gonna stay in place. You don't need the extra steps. I'm just folding 1/4 of an inch at each end and sewing it down. That's only because I was determined this morning I want cork zipper ends. It's one of those things that I know if I did fabric it would be a lot easier, but no, I wanted it to be cork. All right, so press it one more time. Too bulky, not loving it. All right, so I'm gonna do something else then. I'm gonna remove 1/4. I didn't like the bulkiness. And I'm just folding it towards the middle and see if I'm okay with this bulkiness. If not, I might just grab one of those non-rainbow zipper ends. I'm not sure I like it. I am not sure I like it. Seems a little too bulky. I'll try. If I don't like it, I'll change it afterwards. So I'm just putting one of the zipper ends inside. And right now I'm sewing through 2, 4, 8 layers of cork. So it's not something that I would recommend on a sewing machine. I would recommend doing the zipper on a non-industrial. Do the zipper ends in fabric, which I might end up doing anyways. Let's see. Because I'm stubborn. And I want it in cork. I think I might make it. But at what price is the question? Yeah, it's definitely not a maneuver I would recommend on a home sewing machine. Like, I would not use my baby lock for this. I would not subject it to this 8 layers of cork deal. But what can I say? Sometimes I'm stubborn. Well, it is the best I could do right now, so it's not bad. Being that it's the zipper end, at the end of the day, I can change it anytime. I can change the zipper end anytime, even if I want it like in 2 weeks to be different. So for now, I'm gonna leave my cork here. I worked so hard for it. All right, on the other side of the zipper, you want to press right sides and sew a diagonal line as the pattern instructs you. I like the finish on that, so I will try to do that here. As best as you can, because you have a lot of layers if you get to the zipper teeth. You might need to manually crank your machine. And then this, I'm gonna put a clear in it. Hold it like this. This makes, basically it makes an 90-degree angle for your zipper. Okay, same thing on the other side. So the zipper is now ready. My thread is out again. I have a feeling I know why this is happening, but I just don't want to invest in different thread right now. I'm using my serger thread, which is probably not the best idea. You would need like a stronger, a better quality thread than this, but oh well. Spending freeze these days, at least for thread. All right, so this one is done too. Again, 90-degree angle. Let me just sew this end here. All right, so my zippers are ready. Take your lining right side up and mark, I believe it was, let me double check. Yes, 3/4 of an inch on the main panel. So take your main panel and mark 3/4 of an inch. Inside and here. Same thing for the zipper one. Maybe I should have taken a different color than blue. Alright, so this will be, I have a preference for the way my zipper goes when I wear the bag. So that's why I was testing it on my body, because I have the zipper on the, oh, the zipper will be on the outside in this case. So I want my zipper like this. Okay, so this is where the zipper end will be. All right, so with the zipper facing up, so wrong side of the zipper to the right side of the fabric, so your zipper pull will be up. You just have to press or pin in place. Wait, no, not on the main. Hold on. I knew something was not making sense in my mind. You want to do this on the lining first. With the lining is right side up to the wrong side of the panel. Also 3/8. Three-quarters, I mean, sorry. Three-quarters, okay. So, wrong side of the zipper to the right side of the fabric, like so. And then when you get to the end towards the 3/4 mark right here, Sarah recommends to veer a little bit so the zipper lays nicer. Like this. This is a recessed zipper style, so that's why it's we're sewing it with the right sides up, both the lining and the main, both the lining and the zipper. So this is how it looks like on one side, veered off here a little bit. Alright, so take your zipper tab, one of the two. I have two zipper tabs right here. And this one you will press wrong side down and sew it in place. If you sew from the other side, you can follow the same stitching line as before. Make sure you pull the zipper away on this end. And this time you're sewing all the way to the end. So this is how it will look like on one side. You can go ahead and top stitch. If you need to hand crank where the zipper is, where you had that 90-degree angle, you can. Now we're going to do the same thing for the other lining. Again, right side up and right side of the zipper. And where you mark your 3/4 of an inch is where you're going to pin your zipper. And again, you're going to start, this time you're going to start with the part that's veering on the bottom. So, let me pin it in place. Let me show you. Like this is pinned on the edge, and then here I'm going to veer it a little bit towards the bottom. I was never a fan of recessed zippers, but I find that with this technique it looks really pretty, so they grew on me. And now, like just like before, place your zipper tab, and you can sew from the wrong end now, so you can see it. Of course, you can pin it in place and all that fun stuff. But I'm not. Make sure you, again, take the zipper away. Don't sew over your zipper. Alright, so now you have, I might need to check my tension a little bit with the thread keep breaking. So now I'm gonna top stitch and then work on my front panels, because I'm putting an accent cork. Alright, so I'm top stitching. About 1/8 of an inch away from the zipper. Alright, so we have our lining prepared and ready. Now I'm going to set that aside and work on my main panels. I do know that my accents are a little smaller. I might have put the zipper too high. I don't know. So you can fold 1/4 of an inch and hem it with Wonder Tape, so temporary hem. I love that Wonder Tape, or whatever the name is of the one I use. And there you go. So I'm gonna take my accent color and add it exactly where the zipper ends, and top stitch it. Again, you can use another layer of Wonder Tape and just tack it down, but I think I'm just gonna use my fingers to hold it in place. And I think I've decided this is my front, right? The pocket. I tend to have my bags with the pocket on towards the body, but I think for this one I'm gonna leave it towards the outside, which means I'm gonna put my little handmade tag on this side. course, you can baste it in place and remove the excess from all the sides. I'm gonna baste it in place from the wrong end and then cut it. Everything that I'm doing right now will be enclosed in the seam allowance, so it doesn't really matter what color thread I have. And just to remove the excess cork. Of course, I'm going to repeat the same step for the back of the bag. But let me add, so I don't forget, because I do tend to forget this, my little handmade tag. I'm going to just find the center. So I know that's my center. This is what you can decide for yourself, and you can use some Peltex on the back or a little bit of foam if you want. There you go. Beautiful. So now that that is done, I'm gonna move on to applying the cork on the back and add my little Made with Magic my little Made with Magic. This one I think I got from Mormino. Okay, so we have our lining and our main pieces together. Now we're gonna go ahead and sew the darts. So the pattern has 8 little notches, little cutouts that we need to sew together. So basically, with the right sides together, align the darts and just sew with a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance vertically. Super easy. This will give it, you're basically using two pieces of fabric but getting a 3D bag. That's what the darts are there for. So repeat the darts for all edges, including the lining. So you have 4 plus 4, you have 8 darts that you need to sew. Perfect. Now you have that done. Let's sew right sides together. I'll start with the lining. Make sure that you align So this is my lining that has the zipper on it. I'm going to put it right sides together and sew around with 1/4 of an inch seam allowance at the beginning, and then gradually increase my seam allowance for the lining to stay a little nicer and flatter. Make sure that your darts match. You can obviously pin it in place if you'd like. I don't think I'm going to do that. So start with 1/4 of an inch at the top and then gradually increase your seam allowance. This will help your lining stay a little tighter inside the bag. Here, I'll put a pin at the just to make sure my darts match. Let's see. When you sew your main right sides together, you will be keeping a seam allowance that is 1/4 of an inch throughout the bag. Alright, so once I pass my zipper tab, I'm just gonna gradually increase my seam allowance. And then gradually decrease it to get back to 1/4 of an inch. So now I'm at 1/2 inch. I've done the second dart. So now I'm gonna come gradually back to 1/4 of an inch. This way, by the time I get to my zipper panel here, it's back to 1/4 of an inch. Make sure you back stitch at the beginning and at the end. And then trim your seam allowance where the excess is. Just to reduce bulk in the bag. The lining is ready. You can give it a little press here if you want. So see, you have a 3D effect even though the surprise, looks like I put my zipper wrong. Or not. I did. I got scared there for a second. This is correct. You don't flip that. I was like, what did I do wrong? See, I told you I'm no professional, and this is not gonna get edited out of this video. This is correct. The lining is like this. There you go. That's how the lining will be in the bag. And the zipper is correct. Here. I'm not. See, that's what happens when you doubt yourself, guys. Moral of the day, don't doubt yourself. You did everything right. All right, so I'm gonna do the same thing, right sides together. I'm just gonna match the darts, and I'm gonna press the darts opposite directions to reduce bulk. Like if one dart seam allowance is one and the other one goes the other way. And this one is sewn with 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Make sure you don't catch your pocket in that. Alrighty. So that is done. So now we're going to be working on the, actually I'm going to leave it like this. We're going to be working on the zipper tabs and, not the zipper tab, the accent tabs and the straps. Let's start with the straps first. So the pattern has a 2.5 by 2.5 zipper tab because it's using fabric. I'm using cork, so I've shortened mine. It's 2 by 2.5 because this is how I do my zipper tabs with cork. So on the side so I have my 2-inch side here and 2.5-inch side here. I'm gonna put along the 2.5-inch length 2 strips of Wonder tape. And I'm going to fold those edges towards the center. Half an inch. So they will basically bump into each other with a half an inch. It means that now my tab is 1 inch, which is perfect for the hardware that I have. I'm just putting my hardware inside. See, I'm not sewing anything yet. That's why I put the Wonder tape. So now I have my hardware in it, my D-ring or D-ring with a separating bar, whatever you have. But if you don't have this, I highly recommend them. This will keep your straps. You know when you put your regular D-ring without a bar, it tends to twist around. Oh man, I hate that when it happens with my bags. So this was the best solution for that. So I'm just sewing it. Only one horizontal stitch. I already did the other one. Again, the pattern only calls for one. I like to have 2 of them because I'm weird like that. I think there's another pattern that I love of Sarah's that has 1. Oh yes, I know. It's the dot dot dash. I love that pattern. It has like 2 sides, 2 sizes, rather large one that would probably fit a laptop in, and the little messenger bag, like crossbody bag. I love that pattern. And I know that one has 2, only 1, and I've done with 2 before, so sorry, Sarah. All right, if you want, you can add a rivet to this. It's up to you. I'm going to add this to where the seam is, right here. and make sure you backstitch a lot and go a few times over it. Because these straps will have a lot of tension applied to them from carrying the bag, and depending how much stuff you put in it, you want to go a few times over the straps. And I'm going to repeat the same thing for the other side. Again, center it where the seam is. And go over the seam. Alright, so the last thing that I want to do before putting the bags together, back together, I want to add my accent pieces. Now in hindsight, I think I should have done them a different color, but whatever. At least I edge coated it black, so it will pop. And I have some super cute rivets that I'm going to use. So let me bring my rivet press. Before that, I'm going to punch holes. Or no, I'm going to do it when I have it all together. Alright. Let me bring my machine here. And my super duper cute Mickey rivets. Oh man, I have to use 4 of them. I'm beginning to reconsider, because these are like a precious, precious commodity these days. My little Mickey rivets. Alright, so this is going to be a weird angle to work in, but you can do it. Figure out where you want your little accents, and if you have a right side or a wrong sides to them, so put them wrong side to the right side of the bag. And I'm gonna mark to make sure that they're both on the same size. I'm gonna put mine 3 inches down. Sorry about that. So 3 inches down, or maybe 2.5 inches down. Okay, and then on the other side, this way they're as symmetrical as possible. Alright, I might end up using some Wonder Tape for these two. We'll see how well I can do it. So this is how it's gonna look like. Can you see inside? There. That's where I want to put mine. And make sure the center of the strap goes where the seam is. Once you have one, I think, in place, you'll be fine, but until I get that one in place, let's see. My little punch holder. Okay. It's a weird angle to work, I will admit it, but it's worth it. I like the accent. You don't have to put the accent piece, obviously. It's just decor, but I love it. So I'll add it on the back of the rivet on this side. first one was not as easy, but not impossible. You just have to make sure you give yourself a little leeway for error, because this is not an easy spot. Like I already know the hole that I put here is not straight, so I need to redo it. And this is no fun, but again, give yourself margin for error and accept that it may not be straight given the angle that you're working with. No stressing. This is not a time to stress. This is a time to enjoy your process. Because I'm using this cute Mickey rivet, I need to add like a little piece of felt or fleece, I think I'm using, when I press it, just to make sure I don't scratch it. And this little guy may need a little fixing. Looks like I pressed him a little crooked. Poor Mickey. Oh, it is what it is. So repeat the same thing for the other side. Again, as best as you can, following that stitch line, that line that you drew for yourself to make sure it's straight. This one. And finding the center. It might work again if you put some Wonder Tape, but if you're stubborn like me and you want to keep making trial and error, expect it to not be perfect. But I think at least this side is better than the other one. There's the... You can tell from the inside of the bag, eyeballing it, if they're sort of straight. And they look like they are, so I think this one is a good to go. Let's see. Oh no, I broke his little ear. So that one I need to redo it. Because I broke Mickey's ear. I guess that's what happens when you don't put them straight in your press. Okay, much better. All right, let me just go ahead and take that off. Alright, so all rivets are now attached on both sides. All is good with the world again. Mickey has 2 years now. So let's just put the bag together and this is all done. So I need my lining right side out. And decide where you want the zipper. I want the zipper on the opposite side where the zipper is, so it's gonna be on the back of the bag. If you prefer it on both sides, both zippers on both sides, that's fine too. And make sure you put the zipper way inside the bag so you don't catch it. Match the side seams. And so around the top, you still have your zipper opening, your opening to birth the bag from. Oh, important information. Speaking of birthing the bag, you need to make sure before that the zipper where you're birthing the bag, the inside zipper is open. Otherwise you won't be able to birth your bag. So open the zipper pocket inside all the way. All right. So now we can go back to sewing it. And just a few clips at the top. And I think I'm gonna do a 1/2 inch seam allowance here because I want this opening a little bit bigger. And again, where the straps are, go a few times over the straps. This is where my strap is, so I'm gonna go a few times over it. The only thing that you have to do on your own or following Sarah's video or pattern is the straps, because I'm gonna use like the straps that I already have. I'm not making a new crossbody strap. I have so many black ones that will work perfectly here. You can trim your seam allowance down a little bit if you want here. So now the moment of truth and the last step, birth your bag through the pocket and give it a good press. My tip for you, before you close the bag, before you close the pocket, make sure that everything is correct. Like all the stitches are caught properly, all there is no gapping or anything, because you can make changes while that pocket is still open. Once you close that, you're gonna have to open it again to fix any issues. So see, because you have those darts, it gave it like a 3D effect, although you have only two, a front and a back. My little rivets are not that bad. It's a weird angle, but it can be done. And again, I'm not about perfection here. I am not a perfectionist when it comes to bag making. This is my joy, and if I start putting pressure on me to be perfect, I will lose this joy that I have to make bags. So give yourself a break and just enjoy the, look, see here, they align beautifully. Here, not so much, but it's okay, it's fine. I have a brand new bag that distracted me from the madness that is today's world, and that's all I wanted. And I hope that's all you guys want too, and you get to enjoy the process and the result. Because we will go back to the parks, and we will go back to doing everything we love. It's gonna take a little while. And I'm not going to get sappy now. I'm just gonna go ahead and close my pocket. Trim any excess thread, and ta-da! It is all done. Okay, my lining can go back in. And I will top stitch here the recessed zipper. If you're using cork or vinyl, you might find it easier to just clip it in place before you top stitch it. This is so pretty. The perfect little crossbody for the parks. Make sure your zipper is away when you top stitch it. And because I'm lazy and I don't want to change my thread, I'm gonna top stitch it the weird way. Because I have blue here and white in the bobbin. So, and I'm top stitching, holding my bag really weirdly on the machine. But hey, I don't have to change my threads now. Man, I love this cork. These were my last pieces of this blue cork. And if you're using a domestic, like home sewing machine, I can tell you from experience that cork is a lot kinder to your machine than vinyl. You'll enjoy sewing it much more than vinyl. You don't need any special feet for it. It works with your regular presser foot. I love cork. And Sarah has it in so many colors. All done. Ta-da! Thank you so much for watching me and for joining me in sewing my first tower. My first tower messenger bag. I will be doing more of these for sure. Look how adorable. I promise you I will get a strap on it eventually. But look how pretty it is. And my first time using Decovil Light, and I like it. I like the lack of foam. Just when I bought 2 bolts of foam, I decided to try this, and I'm loving this result. Like, it's stiff. Look, without foam. It stays by itself. Is really nice. And you can put your zipper inside or leave it outside, whatever you like. Very cute. Very, very cute. Alright, so as I mentioned before, I'm gonna link everything I used in the description below. I would appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification to be notified of any future videos. I truly, truly appreciate that. And I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye!